What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Litecoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, my friends, and let's get into it. Here we are sitting at about $122 right now, moving up. We're up 6% this week, 1 day, 18 hours. It's not 6% is not crazy, but man, it feels nice, doesn't it, for LTC to be up at these prices. Anytime we get above 120, it's nice. You're at this area where you are above the past like 5 weeks now in price action, right? So that's definitely nice. Of course, last week we wicked all the way up here, but we're at the point right now in the next day and 18 hours where we really could close not just above where we've been consolidating for the past 5 weeks, 6 weeks, but also where we were consolidating for like a year or two. You know, we had a little taste above this line, but hopefully we can get back above it with this weekly close. I think we will. You look at the RSI here, we've got a nice uptrend in the RSI, right? Higher lows, some higher highs, of course, right? But where we're also finding support here is off the 55 area, an area that we found resistance at before here. It's not every single time that you find resistance there, but sometimes you find resistance here. Finding support here, if finding resistance was significant, I think that finding support might be significant as well. Getting overbought, bouncing in an area above your 50, and then getting overbought again, that's a great look. It'd be only better if we could have bounced above the 60, but hey man, I'm not worried about it. It's fine. I think this is a great look in itself. It does look like it wants to go into the overbought zone, and if we get into the overbought zone, what happened the last time we were overbought? Right here, we weren't overbought on this week, the week of the 11th, but we were overbought here on the week of the 18th. So this week here, we moved up 11%. And once we got overbought, we had 2 more weeks that moved up 23% and then 12%. Basically, from a low to a high, after we got overbought, we moved up. That's 67% in a 2-week period, okay? To put that in reference now, if and when we get overbought, we'd move up 67%. We're not overbought here, so we'd be at higher prices, but 67% would put us at $205. I theorize, and this is just from my own experience doing technical analysis, but because of where we are in the RSI, a move up from here, even to the same area, even to a slightly lower high, would likely lead to a stronger move, and meaning that something greater than a 67% move would come. So I mean, just from this price, we're not even overbought yet, but just from this price, that'd be $205, let alone when we get overbought, which might be, you know, when we're at like 140 or something like that, 237. What's great about these projected areas, just basing it off of the move that we just saw from the time we were overbought to when we topped off, not the whole move itself, just from the time that we were overbought. We're not overbought yet. What's great about that projected move is if we take last cycle's high here, May of 2021, to the low that we had in June of 2022, high to low, you can see that that's right at the top of our golden ratio zone, an area that would make sense to kind of stop at. But here's the deal, right? 67%, that would be if it was an equivalent move. I suspect, again, that it's going to be a stronger move. So what's really great about this is not that it makes sense to stop at the 61869 area, but that truthfully it doesn't make sense to stop here. It would make more sense to go higher. Now, if we were doing 67%, and all we know is that it's going to be a bigger move, we don't know how much bigger. Well, if it's 67%, it's going to be bigger. Could it be a 70% move? Could it be a 75% move? Could it be a 100% move? I don't know. But what I do know, at least what I think I know, is that right now your next destination is the golden ratio. Where you are here, it would make sense to stop at the golden ratio. But it also wouldn't make sense to only do 67% of a move. So my theory is we don't stop at the golden ratio. We continue until we at least see the 786 to 886 area. And that'd be from anywhere of about $250 to $312. Now what I want to do, I want to look back this way and see if we see any significance at these areas here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete everything. I'm just going to put these lines here. I'm identifying that as our next target area. Hopefully it's obvious as to why. Okay. So if we look back, right, identifying the 786, 886 zone, we look back left, we can see here, we found some resistance right around this line here. We found some resistance just below this line here. We found some resistance right in between this zone On a closing point, we found resistance here. On a tipping point, we found resistance very near this upper line. There's a lot of significance going on here, right? Some of it just outside of the range, on the low side, on the upper side, but there's a lot of significance going on around this area. I certainly do expect that we find resistance there. Another thing to kind of base this off of, if we take this relative high here to this relative low, you've got your 200 to 2272 area over there. If you get above 250, likely you would go to 313. Okay, so for me, the way that this fib looks, let me see if I can try and make sense out of this. Okay, from a high to a low, based off of this fib, what we're doing now, it would make the most sense to go somewhere at the 786, 886, or in between. It would make the most sense to go somewhere in between based off of this fib. But based off of this fib, what it's telling me is we would either stop here, or if we break through here, we're not stopping until we get here. So essentially, through this fib's derivation, based off the other fib's derivation, because these lines come up, this white line, I didn't move that. That's the 786 to the 886 of last cycle's high to the cycle low. They just happen to line up exactly with the 200 and the 2272 of this high to low fib here on the extended levels, okay? Okay. You found resistance at this 2272. Might you find resistance, or sorry, the 1272, might you find resistance at the 2272? Sometimes that's the case, and that would, by the way, you're at 122, that would mean that Litecoin's moving up to about $313 by the end of this move, which I think would be by the end of February, if not sometime in March. Based on this kind of trajectory, it could be sometime in early March, if not late February. That's genuinely my anticipation, okay? When you hit the 1886, it's a zone. It's the 1886 to the 200. But when you break above the 200, you generally don't stop between the 2272 and the 200. You generally don't stop until you at least hit the 2272. And again, being that you did find resistance on the 1272, sometimes you see these kind of serendipitous plays with the fibs where when you find resistance at 1272, you'll find resistance at 2272, at the 3272, right? If you show support at the 1618, you might then go up to the 2618, stuff like that, right? You see these kind of similar moves based off the fibs, if that makes any sense. When I say similar, I mean 1272 to the 2272. At any rate, I certainly expect this next move to be bigger than this last move. I think it'll be enormously bigger. And at a minimum price expectation, I think 230 to 250 would be a suitable minimum expectation. Any price above 250, it really warrants it warrants that you don't stop until 316. So here you are at 122 now, looking like you want to break out. Let's take everything away and make this as simple as we can. Okay. You were consolidating. You broke out. You back tested your resistance points for support, and now you're looking like you want to go higher. My thoughts are, when you go higher, it's probably not going to be a wimpy move. In fact, it's probably going to be a stronger move than anything you've seen in this whole box. It's going to be stronger than anything you've seen. It's going to be a bull market move. With that in mind, I don't think you stop anywhere, probably. I don't think you'll stop anywhere below this area just on a price perspective. And you probably don't exceed this price on a price perspective, but anywhere and everywhere in between is free game. My projected area that I expect Litecoin to go, it's at 122 now. I think it'll go around 320, 300 to 320, somewhere in that range. And then it'll probably correct, pull back, get ready. I say correct and pull back. Maybe I should say consolidate. It'll probably consolidate, getting ready to break out into new all-time highs. Because then, of course, we zoom out and we see that once you make this move, you'll have a higher high. You'll have your higher lows, your flat tops, and your ascending triangle. You're getting ready to break this multi-cycle pattern. And it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. I assume by the end of March, you'll be up here. Probably when April comes around, that's when we're looking to break out to new all-time highs. So Litecoin gearing up to be exciting. If you're excited at the idea of this thing going to $300, just you wait, because when we break to new all-time highs, guys, the target doesn't stop until we're above $1,000. We're at 122 now. Litecoin's got a long ways to go, my friends. And I think what's crazy is, and people don't, maybe it's not that crazy, people don't talk about it. Litecoin has been used. It has some of the most merchant usage out of any crypto. Okay, it has some of the most merchant acceptance out of any crypto. It's accepted by more merchants than Ethereum, I'm pretty sure. This coin, I think, because it's been around for so long, It's literally stood the test of time. How many cryptos can exist for multiple cycles? How many cryptos can exist for multiple cycles without seeing new all-time highs and still remain relevant, still remain in the top 100? How many cryptos have lived their whole lives in the top 100? How many cryptos where the founder sold at the all-time highs and didn't get back in are still relevant? This coin has proved itself to be more or less solvent, okay? What if, because there's no Bitcoin strategic reserve, it's a crypto strategic reserve, what if Litecoin's thrown in there? Litecoin, after all, was designated, designed, the purpose that it came out with, the mission statement was to be the silver to Bitcoin's gold. That was the whole point. What if in the Bitcoin reserves, the strategic reserves for crypto that Donald Trump signed the executive order for yesterday, what if Litecoin gets in that stockpile? Now, a lot of people might hear that and be like, whoa, that's a dumb idea. Who would put Litecoin in there? But here's the deal, and I'm talking to the wrong crowd, the people that are watching this video, but a lot of people in crypto might hear that and think that's preposterous. But here's the deal, man. From a high to a low, I mean, that's a 90% drop. That's still pretty big, but I knew it dropped less than 90%, but I didn't know it dropped basically 90%. But still, dropping less than 90% in a bear market is pretty significant for any crypto. That's a big milestone. Most cryptos, if not all cryptos, from a high to a low, they drop over 90%. That wasn't as good of. I thought maybe I measured it from a different place. Maybe I measured it from that high earlier, and I wasn't looking at it on the monthly time frame. Because I thought it was like 86%. So, but whatever. The point that I'm trying to make, that I was trying to make, was the level of percentage. But we can throw that out. Whatever. Look at the relative stableness that it has here. Right. It's been a very stable, slowly growing project, and it definitely, this consolidation has been. It's a bullish phase of consolidation that likely will lead it to break out to higher highs. All I'm trying to say is, while a lot of cryptos over the past 2 cycles, they either had one blow off cycle and then broke down on their next cycle, right? Or they had a blow-off cycle, and then on their next cycle they came up and they had a lower high, right? Litecoin, however, has just been chilling. It's just been consolidating. It hasn't been doing anything miraculous, but nothing that's detrimental either. And when it does, as much belief or disbelief as Litecoin has now, when it does break out of this range, it will only validate Litecoin more to the whole crypto ecosystem. It'll validate it in saying that this thing has longevity. This thing isn't here. It doesn't matter if the whole crypto space hates it. And I say hate, I shouldn't even say that. Most people in crypto don't hate Litecoin. They write it off. They write it off. They act like it doesn't exist. They act like it's not important. They act like it's irrelevant, right? And it's coins that exist. It's coins that are real, that are relevant, that people act like aren't relevant. Those are the coins that tend to perform the best. They do their best work in the dark. So I'm really expecting big things out of Litecoin. I think that once you break out of this will cement Litecoin's legitimacy in crypto. Nobody will ever be able to second guess it again. And beyond all that, it's got a longer existence than most coins. We're in a financial, institutional kind of bull market where we've got more institutional money coming in than we ever have before. I don't know about you guys, but if I was an institution, I would probably want to put my money in a coin that, no matter how boring it looks, it's at least solvent. It's at least seeing higher lows cycle after cycle, and it's been around since 2013. I would rather put my money in something like this than something that just came out this year. That's the newest hype tech, right? It might not be sexy to the average investor, the average crypto investor, because we all are looking for that newest exciting tech. But this kind of stuff, this quote unquote boring stuff, this is sexy to those institutional buyers, because they look at this and they say, oh, it's existed longer than most cryptos, and it's still here, and it's still in the top 100, and it's still in the top 50. Oh, it's existed longer than most most cryptocurrencies, and it's got more merchant use than most cryptocurrencies out there. It's got more merchant acceptance, and people act like it's not relevant. It's got some of the most merchant acceptance in the whole crypto space, and people act like it's not relevant. Institutions get a hard on when they hear. If you're an institutional person and you're watching this video, tell me if I'm wrong. You got a hard on right now. I'm telling you. It's this kind of stuff is what would interest people like that. It's not the brand new coins. It's not your SWEEs. It's not your, and I love XCN, but it's not XCN, right? It's not, and I mean, maybe they put a little bit of stuff in there, but it's not your brand new coins. It's the coins that have existed cycle after cycle. And I think I've made my point. I'm going to end the video there. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's look at the ribbon real quick, and then we'll really end the video, okay? Litecoin here on a monthly basis. Looking to get that cross, bro. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. You get this monthly cross, that'll be a big signal to the institutions as well, and to anybody who has a brain or looks at, let's just say, significant market metrics. Weekly looks great. Phenomenal. 3 days looking good as well. Good, yeah. And the daily, cool. Beautiful. Looking like you wanted to get below it, but you didn't. You're getting the separation. All I ask of you to do now is just continue to grow. If you don't, if Litecoin closes any day below about $115, then what that means is we're not moving up now. We're consolidating now, and then we'll move up later, maybe sometime in February. Anyways, guys, that's all I got. Hit the like button, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.